to move on to the next portion of our agenda, and that's actually researching and applying to colleges. Once you're ready with a competitive profile, it's time to apply. But to what school? It's very important to find the right school for you, as college is a huge investment. First thing you need to do is you need to evaluate yourself. What type of environment are you looking for? This is important because you will be living in this place for 4 years. You have to ask yourself things like, do you want to live in a small city or a large city? Do you mind the snow? Do you want to live in the South? Do you want to live on the East Coast or the West Coast? Also think about what to major in and make sure it's offered at your target schools. If you want to be a veterinarian, you should go to a school with the animal science program. If you want to be in aviation, you should go to a school possibly with an aerospace engineering program. There are things that you can find out by visiting school websites and looking in at their marketing materials, but we don't advise that you make a decision based strictly on looking at a website. The best way to really get a feel for a school is to quite honestly visit and talk to current students and alumni. And I'm going to ask some of our speakers to share their experiences visiting schools and actually some things that they did to research their schools and why they think their school was ultimately a good fit. Asia, would you mind sharing your school experience at Northwestern?
Sure. Am I on mute? Hello?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thanks. So I want to reiterate the point that it is absolutely really important to do a self-assessment and sort of take some time and reflect and consider what are your values, what are the things that matter. You know, Janae gave some great examples in terms of environment, setting, but then spend some time, and it may be sort of abstract as a high school student, but the more you talk to people and visiting the campus will certainly help with this, but spend some time and think about the type of learner that you are and, really sort of drill down and think about what sort of your long-term ambitions are and sort of how you envision yourself in the work setting to sort of dictate what schools you choose from an academic standpoint. My experience, and this is, partly my personality, but I wasn't as strategic or as precise when I went around trying to figure out what schools I was going to go to. I knew really like two things. One, I didn't want to stay in California, which is where I'm from, and two, I wanted to be in a big city. And I felt New York was probably way too big, but Chicago would be just right. And so that's how I ended up at the school that I ended up. But initially, I sort of determined that I wanted to be in Chicago and got a college school book that listed the top schools and all that good stuff. And I picked a school that said it was in Chicago. And then I shared that information with one of my history teachers, and he just gave me a look like, no, that's not adequate, try again. And just the look alone told me, okay, I probably need to take this decision a bit more seriously. And so then I spent some time looking at other statistics that went along with, my school choice. And then I also went out and visited Northwestern's campus and, fell in love with the campus, was able to sort of get a better sense of what my life would be like, what the experience would be like being that far away from home. And I think in addition to helping me make the decision that would be a good fit for me, it also, me visiting the campus was also a signal to the admissions board at that school that showed that I was really serious. So I think it definitely gave me some extra points, the fact that I, made an effort to visit the campus. So that's something that you also want to consider. But, yeah, you definitely want to do your research in advance. Don't pick schools based off of what your friends are doing or, just don't make an uninformed decision. Make sure that it's truly a right fit for you, both from an academic standpoint as well as just being in that space. And that's what I would share.
Thank you, Asia. Now I'm going to ask Latrice Rice to share her experience visiting Tuskegee University and what she actually got out of that visit. Latrice?
Sure. Janae, actually visiting Tuskegee University was one of the best experiences that I can ever go through, and it was partly because my brother actually had a friend that attended Tuskegee at the time, and part of the visit was, one, having a campus tour, two, meeting with the dean of admissions, meeting with the College of Business dean, and at the time there was a Tuskegee University Business and Engineering Conference going on. And that conference showed me that not only did Tuskegee have a great business program, but they were actually focused on actually helping the students get jobs, because there were companies as GE, Ford, and many other companies there that were actually there giving back the information of knowledge of how they recruit and what information they needed. So those were some of the selling points. But actually meeting with the Dean of Admissions actually sold me, because they were actually, on the day I visited, was able to tell me, this is how much scholarship we can give you. We can give you a presidential scholarship. This is what we'll have laid out for you. And all those things are really good, that I can make my key decision before I graduate. And it was very good to actually make the college visit and have it mapped out and have those meetings scheduled before time.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Latrice. And Saronia, if you're still there, would you mind sharing with us your experience recently with your nephew at college fairs, and also give a plug for your experience on the Black College Tour? Did we lose her?
Yes, I am still here.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, you said the Black College Tour, and what was the first thing? I'm sorry?
And your experience with your nephew going to college fairs.
Oh, okay. Definitely, I think that college fairs are important for the high school students to go to, and it's best for them, I think, to start maybe going their sophomore year to, or even freshman year at that, just to start talking to the different college recruiters and what the different schools look for. And that'll kind of get their mind set on going to college. And at those college fairs, they also have information about college tours, so maybe their junior year, so they can, I think that's important to do. But I know it helps because they'll tell you at their school what the average SAT requirements are and what you would have to do to get a scholarship and things like that. And, you get to talk to someone who's gone there most likely, and they can share their experience with you. And I found that helpful for my nephew, taking him to college tours. It helped him get his, sort of a direction on where he wanted to go to school. And my experience with college tour was great. My mom actually made me go to a college fair, and at that college fair is when I found out about a college tour. It was actually a Black College Tour, and going on that college tour is what really got me focused on wanting to go to college, because going there, for one, I got to see a lot of other Black people just like myself going to school doing things, and where I was from, you didn't see a whole lot of that. You saw a lot of white kids, going to college, but where I was from, there weren't a lot of Black people going, especially not straight from high school to college. So that had me feeling like it was something that I could do and something that was going to be very beneficial to me, as well as the social aspect. You're going to have a good time and, all the things that go along with going to college, as well as getting a good education. So after I came back from the college tour, my mind was set. I was going to school. I applied to all the schools that I visited on the college tour, and was happy to get into Tuskegee because that's the school that I really wanted to go to. So I definitely think that it's very beneficial, and it makes the kids want to go, because if they don't want to do it truly, then it doesn't matter what you tell them, they're not going to put forth the effort. So something that it has to be important, and something that they feel that's important, something that they're going to try to make an effort to make sure they get in.
Thank you very much. Very inspiring. All right, so we talked about the importance of really figuring out what schools you want to go to. But now let's talk about actually applying. Now, one thing to note when you do apply, the process of applying can get time-consuming and expensive because there are a lot of application fees that you're going to have to put up front. However, there are resources out there that can help you apply to multiple schools with one application and one application fee. Please put it on your list to visit the following sites. The first site is commonapp.org, and that's COMMONAPP.org, commonapp.org. And the second site is EduInc Online. That's EduInconline, eduinconline.com. These sites could save you hundreds of dollars in application fees. And again, I'll mention youngsavvy.com. We have those links on there as well.